sing the Vishnu sing high song. Let's sing high high. Go ahead.
मेरे मन में है राम, मेरे तन में है राम, मेरे नैनों की नगरिया में राम है। मेरे मन में है राम, मेरे तन में है राम, मेरे नैनों की नगरिया में राम है। मेरे मन में है राम, मेरे तन में है राम। मेरी रोम रोम की है राम है रमैया, सासू के स्वामी मेरे नैया की केवैया। मेरी रोम रोम की है राम है रमैया, सासू के स्वामी मेरी नैया की केवैया। सासू के स्वामी मेरी नैया की केवैया, नैया की केवैया। कन कन में है राम, कन कन में है राम, त्रिभुवन में है राम। मेरी नभ की अठरिया में राम है। मेरे मन में है राम, मेरे तन में है राम। जन्म जन्म का चिन्ह से है नाथा, मन जिनके फल चिन्ह गुण गाथा। जन्म जन्म का चिन्ह से है नाथा, मन जिनके फल चिन्ह गुण गाथा। मन जिनके फल चिन्ह गुण गाथा, मन गुण गाथा। गुण गुण में है राम, गुण गुण में है राम, रुन झुन में है राम। सारे जग की डगरिया में राम है। मेरे मन में है राम, मेरे तन में है राम। जहाँ कहीं देखो वहीं राम की है माया, सब ही के साथ श्री राम जी की छाया। जहाँ कहीं देखो वहीं राम की है माया, सब ही के साथ श्री राम जी की छाया। सब ही के साथ श्री राम जी की छाया, राम जी की छाया। सुमिरन में है राम, सुमिरन में है राम, दर्शन में है राम। मेरे मन की मुरलिया में राम है। मेरे मन में है राम, मेरे तन में है राम। मेरी नैनों की नगरिया में राम है। मेरे मन में है राम, मेरे तन में है राम।
Melly Charity Promise.
मैली झाडर ओर तुम्हारी आओ, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी, वार तुम्हारे आओ, हे पावन परमेश्वर मेरे, मन ही मन शर्माऊं, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी, वार तुम्हारे आओ, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी। तूने मुझको जग में भेजा, निर्मल देकर आया, आखिर के संसार में मैंने इसी को दाग लगाया, जन्म जन्म की मैली चादर कैसे दाग चुराऊं, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी, वार तुम्हारी आओ, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी। इन पैरों से चल कर तेरे मंदिर कभी ना आया, जहाँ जहाँ हो पूजा तेरी कभी न शीश झुकाया, मन बिना के तारे तूते, अब क्या गीत सुनाऊं, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी, द्वार तुम्हारे आओ, हे पावन परमेश्वर मेरे, मन ही मन शर्माऊं, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी, द्वार तुम्हारे आओ, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसी।
Five minutes again. Say about 5 minutes again. One more. One more.
लक्ष्मी मैया उतारे तेरी आरती, बरसा दो माँ कृपा, लक्ष्मी मैया उतारे तेरी आरती, बरसा दो माँ कृपा, सबकी नैया दुखों से तू ही तारती, बरसा दो माँ कृपा, लक्ष्मी मैया। देने वाले तू ही जग को पाले। दया से तेरे हम सब जीवे, सबको तू संभाले। दया से तेरे हम सब जीवे, सबको तू संभाले। लक्ष्मी मैया उतारे तेरी आरती, बरसा दो माँ कृपा। लक्ष्मी मैया तेरी भक्ति जागे दिल में निज दिन करके वंदन। तेरी भक्ति जागे दिल में निज दिन करके वंदन। तू है शक्ति परमेश्वर की, हाथों सबके बंधन। तू है शक्ति परमेश्वर की, हाथों सबके बंधन। लक्ष्मी मैया उतारे तेरी आरती, बरसा दो माँ कृपा। लक्ष्मी मैया प्रेम का दीप जला के मैया आरती तेरी उतारे। प्रेम का दीप जला के मैया आरती तेरी उतारे। हे जग ज्योति कष्ट निवारिणी हर लीला अंधियारे। हे जग ज्योति कष्ट निवारिणी हर लीला अंधियारे। लक्ष्मी मैया उतारे तेरी आरती, बरसा दो माँ कृपा। सबकी नैया दुखों से तू ही तारती, बरसा दो माँ कृपा। लक्ष्मी मैया
बोले श्री सरस्वती माता की जय. I welcome you devotees to our Saraswati Jayanti devotions. As we begin this evening, I would briefly offer obeisance to Gajanan Swami Bhagwan Shankar. Then we will glorify Saraswati Devi, the deity of the day. And then we will proceed to listen to a wonderful katha on that supreme energy as Saraswati, and most importantly, what she really means to us. So first we concentrate on Gajanan. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. ओम गं गणपतिये नमः। बोले श्री गजानन स्वामी की। We all know that Saraswati Devi is that power of creativity, the arts, our music. Those of you who were here last year would remember, for musicians, the Devi on the tantric side is known as Matangi, Jai Matangi Mata, the goddess of our music. So through music, through sound, we can achieve that saras, that flow, that oneness with the divine. So what I would ask you is, as we chant, as we listen, you try not to think too much of other things, to concentrate and keep that steady flow of awareness, of consciousness on what we are doing, and let yourselves be immersed in that Saraswati, also known as a river, or that flow state, that oneness, that is all. But first, Bhagwan Shankar. Re 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 Mahadev, Mahadev, Deva Maheshwara, Mahadev, Deva Maheshwara, Mahadev, Deva Maheshwara, Mahadev, Deva Maheshwara, Mahatrishuladharan, Tribhuvan, Chakra Ganesh, Trishuladharan, Tribhuvan, Chakra Ganesh, इनके जगवंदन Mahadev, Dev Maheshwara, Mahadev, Mahadev, Mahadeva, Mahadev, Mahadev, Deva Maheshwara, Mahadev. Panchadev Panchanan Pujat, Panchadev Panchanan Pujat, Panchadev Panchanan Pujat. Panchadev Panchanan Pujat, Panchadev Panchanan Pujat, Panchadev Panchanan Pujat. Abhira Kapur Anavahi Niravan, Abhira Kapur Anavahi Niravan, Bela Patra So Chandan, Kamalapati Kar Mahadev, Deva Maheshwara, Mahadev, देव महेश्वर महादेव। पंचदेव पंचानन पूजक पंचदेव पंचदेव पंचानन पंचदेव पंचानन पूजक पंचदेव पंचदेव पंचानन पूजक पंचदेव पंचानन पूजक अविरत पुराण वागी निर्वन अविरत पुराण वागी निर्वन दिल पत सो चंदन कमलापति कर महादेव देव महेश्वर महादेव देव महेश्वर महादेव देव महेश्वर महादेव नव महेश्वर महादेव। देव महेश्वर महादेव महादेव देव महेश्वर महादेव देव महेश्वर महादेव महादेव महादेव। बोले श्री उमापति महादेव की जय। And devotees, let us now concentrate on Saraswati Devi, Saraswati Mata. We'll join together in a bhajan that we all know, so we can sing together. He Sharade Ma. हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां तू स्वर की देवी संगीत तुझसे हर शब्द तेरा है हर गीत तुझसे तू स्वर की देवी संगीत तुझसे हर शब्द तेरा है हर गीत तुझसे हम हैं अकेले हम हैं अधूरे तेरी शरण हम हमें प्यार दे मां मुनियों ने समझी गुनियों ने जानी वेदों की भाषा पुराणों की वाणी मुनियों ने समझी गुनियों ने जानी वेदों की भाषा पुराणों की वाणी हम भी तू समझे हम भी तू जाने विद्या का हमको अधिकार दे माँ। तू श्वेत वर्णी कमल पे विराजे, हाथों में वीणा मुकुट सर पे साजे। तू श्वेत वर्णी कमल पे विराजे, हाथों में वीणा मुकुट सर पे साजे। मन से हमारे मिटा के अंधेरे, हमको उजालों का संसार दे माँ। हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। We continue to concentrate on Saraswati Ma devotees. This is a wonderful composition, I would say, in Rag Yaman. It glorifies that Devi who holds the veena, and through her music, through the arts, through creativity, she brings light to homes everywhere. So, जय जय देवी वीणावाणी, शिव कल्याणी मातु भवानी। शिव कल्याणी मातु भवानी। जय जय देवी वीणावाणी, जय जय देवी वीणावाणी। शिव कल्याणी मातु भवानी। शिव कल्याणी मातु भवानी। जय जय देवी वीणावाणी। जय जय देवी वीणावाणी। आज स्वरों के दीप जला दे। आज स्वरों के, using music, the notes devotees, we can bring light. आज स्वरों के internal light. आज स्वरों के दीप जला दे। रोम रोम संगीत जला दे। रोम रोम संगीत जला दे। गीत जला दे। जय जय देवी वीणावाणी। जय जय देवी वीणावाणी। Of course, we have vocal music, instrumental music, and we cannot forget dance, an integral part of our cultural expressive system. So, बोलत घुंघरू बाजे पायलिया, बोलत घुंघरू बाजे पायलिया, पायलिया चन चन चननन 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 चननन, बोलत घुंघरू बाजे पायलिया, झूम रही है सारी नगरिया, झूम रही है सारी नगरिया, सारी नगरिया, जय जय देवी वीणा वाणी, जय जय देवी वीणा वाणी, शिव कल्याणी मातु भवानी, शिव कल्याणी मातु भवानी, जय जय देवी वीणा वाणी, जय जय देवी वीणा वाणी, जय जय देवी वीणा वाणी। बोले श्री सरस्वती माता की जय। Now, devotees, to be completely honest with you, I am going to present this katha for me. I find it deeply interesting because I can relate to it. It is up to you now to see what you can take from it. But I totally understand when my guru said, when my father said, eventually when you read, you end up reading for yourself. And this is such a beautiful katha. As I said, it's up to you now to take something from it. Now, you've all seen Mata Saraswati, the four hands, goddess of knowledge, etc. And I am not going to address that. I am going to look at an origin story. We say Saraswati Jayanti. So when was Saraswati Mata born? Now, there is one supreme. So Saraswati Mata really wasn't born. In the Vedas, you have Saraswati. As I said, Saras, the essence of flow. The whole of nature is Saraswati. But I'm going to look at a story because even though stories are not everything, stories are still important. If I were to just give you straight gyan, you'd be bored, just learning off a set of things. But the story puts some life into it, and it also gives, good memory retention. I'm going to relate to you the katha of Maha Saraswati. Now, first to make a distinction, you hear about Shiva, you hear about Para Shiva. You hear Saraswati, you hear Maha Saraswati. You hear Kali, you hear Maha Kali. What is this? Is it one? Is it two? Hindus can't make up their mind. Now, what we have to understand based on our Hindu worldview is that there is one supreme. Now, let me explain it like this. You see, you have the ocean and you have fishes in the ocean. We are like the fishes in the ocean and the supreme is like the ocean. The problem is we identify as being the fish when in fact we are the ocean. Listen carefully. You have the clouds and the sky. We are like the clouds, the sky is like the supreme. The problem is the cloud comes into being and then disappears and we think we are the clouds. But we are not the cloud, we are the sky. You look at a printed page, you read in the newspapers, you see the printed letters and you take something from it. You identify with that, but nobody thinks they're the paper. The paper is the background, what is always there, the source. So we are not the printed word, we are the page. When you go to the cinema and you look at the movie, you identify with the story being told. But the story is being projected on the screen. Sanatan Dharma tells us you are not the characters acting out on the screen or in the play, you are the screen. Okay? So when we talk about the physical world and certain things we concentrate on, we say Saraswati Devi, goddess of knowledge, because we kind of focus on that. But Maha Saraswati means that oneness. Okay? And in various kathas, you hear this Devi projecting into that Devi and absorbing back that Devi. It's just a way of saying everything is one thing. Now, all this stuff about liberation and self-realization, whatnot, is simply to realize this one fact, which most people don't realize, you don't know, that everything is one thing. You think that you are an individual. Of course, you're probably thinking, here we go again with this craziness. Everything is one thing, but I know I am me. So we will come to that later on. But for now, take it as something that might be true. That maybe, just maybe, who you think you are, what you think your life is not the truth. What you are is something deeper than that. And there is an interconnectedness between everything. Okay? So I set it up like that. This is the difference. If somebody were to ask you, what's the difference between Maha Saraswati and Saraswati? Same thing. Except Maha means the totality. Saraswati, we try to concentrate, we have a murti, we pray, we try to personify. It means taking a concept and making it into a person. Okay? But don't make the mistake, because imagine you have your wedding ring on your hand. Is the wedding ring your husband or your wife? Is it? What is it? It's a symbol of your husband or your wife, not so? A picture is the symbol of something else. So this Saraswati Murti, these forms you see, they're all symbols of a principle, an energy. Good. Now, what I will do, I'm going to explain to you very briefly this story of the birth, I don't want to say birth, the advent of Maha Saraswati, what took place. We'll glorify Devi in between, and then most importantly, I'll spend more time on the explanation of what it means. Because let's face it, devotees, if you didn't exist, would you care about God? The whole reason you care about God is because you exist, not so? So God as a concept was introduced to you, and now you're going to try to find what that God is. But if you didn't exist, then it wouldn't be there. So the point is, everything now comes back to you. It doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what you believe. The only truth is that which is always, that remains, that supreme truth. Okay? Now, listen carefully. What I'm going to read from the script here comes from the Markandeya Puran, and it's known by various names, but we have the Devi Mahatmya, okay? A series of stories. And the stories cover in order Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. I'm going to give you the story from the last part called the Uttama Charitram, the last part that deals with Mahasaraswati. Okay? So again, what am I reading from? The Devi Mahatmya, which comes from the Markandeya Puran, a Purana. Alright. Once upon a time, as stories go, there were two asuras, demons. Okay? These demons, their names were Shumbha and Nishumbha. Say it after me. Shumbha and Nishumbha. I'm making you say it for a reason. So try to let the name stick. So these two, as usual, started to wreak havoc everywhere because they grew quite powerful. And the devas, the devatas, deva literally means, to shine. So Indra, Surya, Chandra, Kuber, Yam, Varun, Vayu, Agni, all these devas we speak about, they were, to put it simply, under pressure. Even the power of sacrifice from Havan, in a way the Shumbha and Nishumba took away these blessings from it. In other words, Shumbha and Nishumba stole all that was good, all that was right. Now the Devas, unable to bear this, what they did? They decided to go to that mountain of stillness, Himalaya Parvat, and pray to Vishnu Maya, that supreme Devi, Parvati Devi. And what they did, they really went and, when we're in trouble, we can pray, you could ask, cry and whatnot. So they poured their hearts out and they requested this Devi to come to their rescue. Now, there are different versions of this story here. One version says that Parvati Devi came there in a river, that was one side, and she asked, who are they praying to? Now, it's the same Parvati, Parvati in the water is asking, who the Devas praying to? The Devas are praying to Parvati Devi. And it is said Parvati Devi projected out of herself a form, a beautiful Devi that had 8 arms. Fair in color, clear complexion, very beautiful. And she was known as Mahasaraswati, or the other name, she was known as Kaushiki. Kaushiki Devi. Can you say Kaushiki? Right, sounds like a Japanese word, right? Kaushiki. But Kaushiki Devi, a beautiful name. So, what happened is that this Devi appeared before them in the form of Mahasaraswati or Kaushiki Devi and said, I will deal with this situation. I would handle this. Don't worry, as usual. So the Devas went away, and now, what happened? This beautiful Devi was spotted by 2 of the henchmen of Shumbha and Nishumba. If you look at Indian movies and whatnot, you have the main fellas, and then you have the main sidekicks, right? The henchmen who will go and do all the dirty work. Like the bouncers now. So these 2, their names were Chanda and Munda. Again, say it, Chanda and Munda. So we're talking demons, right? So Shumbha and Nishumba had their 2 main henchmen, Chanda and Munda, who promptly saw this lady and ran back to Shumbha and Nishumba now. And really Shumbha is the main one. They said, oh my, imagine Trinidadian fellas. Oh God, we see this real nice girl. Yeah? And we think that she's the best thing for you because you're the best man. So, in other words, they saw this Devi, Shumbha and Nishumba, Shumbha especially being, the king, thinking he's the be-all and end-all, wanted to match up with somebody equally beautiful. So they decided, this Devi is the one. So, what happened now is that Shumbha called his messenger, whose name was Sugriv. Now, this is not Sugriv we do in Ramayana, right? Remember what I said. Sugriva means, who could remember? Sugriva, good? Come on. Good fruit. In other words, he's the messenger, he's the sweet talker. Sugriva. So this demon Sugriva now went to this Devi and said, he tried to reach out to her on behalf of Shumb, because, Shumb too big to go by himself. So in other words, how children behave in secondary school? You have boys and girls, and the girls, or the boy will go, hey, go tell that girl I like Sheena. So it's like that, right? So he sent the messenger, Sugriv. To cut the long story short, Devi told Sugriv, this Devi, Kaushiki Devi, or Mahasaraswati, told Sugriva that she would only marry a man who could defeat her in a battle. Strong lady. right? So she said, I don't want to get married to anybody who's weaker than me. So this person who I'm going to get married to has to be able to beat me in battle, defeat me. In other words, he had to be better than me. Right, girls? Well, you understand the point, right? You try to get married to somebody or to get with somebody who will pull you forward. I don't want to say better than, but complement. Not worse off than you, because then you had to do all the pulling, right? Okay. So, she told this Sugriv that, and Sugriv went back, reported to Shumbha. Now, devotees, that is one chapter, chapter 5. It goes through chapter 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, which is why I'm not reading the Sanskrit for you, because we will never finish. So I'll just briefly tell you what happened next, okay? When this Sugriv went back and said, nothing doing, this Devi's putting up a challenge, we go to chapter 6 where Shumbha sent another demon called Dhumralochan. So this chapter is Dhumralochan Vadham. So you could guess what will happen, okay? Dhumralochan went and he gathered, with him a set of other asuras and he attacked Devi. Devi just looked at him and with a hunkar, as it's called, just vibrational power, burnt Dhumralochan. Knock him out. And Devi's lion, okay, so you have to understand here, yes, Saraswati Devi on a swan, but remember the Devi's here shifting, okay? So we'll go with the story. The lion, she assumed the form of Kali and other things, but I'm keeping it simple. So the lion destroyed all of the demons. So now, learning about the death of Dhumralochan, this first one that went, Shumbha was upset again. So what he did? In chapter 7 now, Shumbha asked Chandan Munda, the two henchmen, now you go. So we have Chandamunda Vadham. Chandan Mund took up their abhinav and went and started a fight with Kaushiki Devi, Mahasaraswati. And seeing them, Devi's face became black with anger. And Kali was projected out of her body. Remember, same thing, right? Terrible side, nice side. Okay? Same Devi. And Mahakali destroyed Chandan Mund. And she severed their heads. And so we know Devi as Chamunda because of that. Anyway, so she destroyed Chandan Mund. Realizing that happened now, Shumbha further upset. So Shumb now, he's calling out his asuras, right? Listen to them carefully. The next one he called out was a guy that you know very well. His name was Rakta Bij. So Rakta Bij, chapter 8, he came out to fight Devi now. And you all are aware of that katha where Mahakali destroyed Rakta Bij because when his blood fell to the ground, an identical copy would spring up. Many, many Rakta Bijas. Like you could never kill him. But Mahakali stopped the blood from falling and so Rakta Bij was destroyed. Okay. Now what? So remember, Shumb and Nishumb are like twins. Think of them like brothers. But even in twins, you still have the bossier one. So the bossier one was Shumb. So Shumb said, Nishumb, your turn. So in chapter 9, Nishumbha Vadham now, Nishumbha went to attack Devi. And Devi fought with him. A long battle went on. And then eventually Devi took her Trishul, threw Nishum to the ground. When she threw him down, like from inside of him another monster sprung up, Well, Harry Potter kind of thing here. With 1,000 arms flailing around, but one trident, boom, Nishumbha, dead. And then we come to chapter 10, Shumbha Vadham now. So finally, after you try everything, devotees, at the end of the day, you have to go and deal with your business by yourself. So Shumbha went, and of course, a big fight took place between Shumbha and Devi. And eventually, Devi fighting with him, playing around with this Shumbha, took her Trishul and straight through the heart, destroyed Shumbha completely, total annihilation. Shumbha was destroyed. The entire universe was relieved of this burden of Shumbha Nishumb. And so the Devatas praised Devi Ma. And so chapter 11 in the Devi Mahatmya, there's a Devi Stuti and Phala Stuti, various wonderful compositions. You would hear all these wonderful stotras. They all come from Devi Mahatmya. Okay? And this in essence is the story of how Mahasaraswati or Kaushiki Devi appeared, the Jayantina. She appeared and she destroyed, or was the cause of destruction of all of these asuras, including the main ones, Shumbha and Nishumbha. Good. Bole Sri Mahasaraswati Mata ki Jai. Now, what you make of this story? As I said, it's no value to us knowing that Devi did this and that and killed this asura and that one, okay? So, I will let you think about it a little bit, but before so, I'm going to chant a special stotra now that was used by the Devatas when they were praying to Mahasaraswati to appear. It is known as the Tantrika Devi Suktam or the Aparajita Stuti. And you will know it when you hear it. You could join together with me. But I want to ask a favor of you. And what is that favor? I don't know how you pray, devotees. I don't know if you ask for something, what you say, if you chant a mantra or whatever it is you do. But the favor I'm going to ask of you tonight is, as we chant this and as we pray, I do not want you to ask for anything. Nothing at all. To completely free your mind of all burdens whatsoever. You might be sick, you might be tired, some of you might be hungry, some of you have problems, some of you have no problems. It doesn't matter. What I ask is that you, again, Saras, let this flow through you and don't burden your mind with asking, talking, anything. Quiet your mind. Don't get distracted. If it moves away, bring it back. So what we are saying here, we are focusing on the part where the Devatas prayed and then that Mahasaraswati appeared. That Mahasaraswati could appear for you. It doesn't mean there's a form appearing there with 8 arms, though it could be. But that feeling of peace, of oneness, which whether you know it or not, that you really seek, it will come to you. But you have to do it right. And as I said, don't ask, don't speak. Just be still and be. And let the power of this flow through you. Okay? So you sit up, concentrate, take a breath or two, and you join together with me when you could, as I chant this Aparajita Stuti or Tantrika Devi Suktam, and then we would end with a Dhyan mantra when that Mahasaraswati appeared. Concentrate. Dhari Sri Mahasaraswati Namo Namaha Namo Devye Mahadevye Shivaya Satatam Namaha Namaha Prakratye Bhadraye Nityataha Pranataha Sammatam Raudraye Namo Nityaye Gauraye Dhatre Namo Namaha Jyotisnaye Chendurupinye Sukhaye Satatam Namaha Kalyanye Pranatam Vridhye Siddhye Kurmo Namo Namaha Nairitye Bhubhritam Lakshme Sharvanye Te Namo Namaha Durgaye Durgaparaye Saraye Sarvakarinye Khyatye Tathaiva Krishnaye धूम्रायै सततं नमः अतिसौम्यातिरौद्रायै नतास्तस्यै नमो नमः नमो जगत्प्रतिष्ठायै देव्यै कृत्यै नमो नमः. And now devotees, you join together. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu. We say Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namah. You can join in that part. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnu Mayeti Shabdita Namastaste, Namastaste, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Chetanitya Vidhiyate Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Nidrarupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Kshudarupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Chayarupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shaktirupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Trishnarupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Chantirupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Jatirupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lajjarupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shantirupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddharupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Kantirupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmirupena Samsthita Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu vritti rupena samstita. Namastasya 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 namo namah. Ya Devi sarvabhuteshu smriti rupena samstita. Namastasya 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 namo namah. Ya Devi sarvabhuteshu dayarupena samstita. Namastasya 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 namo namah. Ya Devi sarvabhuteshu tushtirupena samstita. Namastasya 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 namo namah. Ya Devi sarvabhuteshu matrirupena samstita. Namastasya 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 namo namah. Ya Devi sarvabhuteshu bhrantirupena samstita. Namastasya 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 namo namah. Indriyanam dhishtatri bhutanam chakahelushya. Bhuteshu satatam tasya vyapya deve namo namah. Chitti rupenya Krishna metad vyapya sthita jagat. Namastasya 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 namo namah. Sri Maha Saraswati Mata ki jai. Bole Sri Saraswati Mata ki jai. And devotees, when that Saraswati Devi appeared, how did she appear? This one beautiful shloka, Kaushiki Devi, Maha Saraswati. Ghanta shula halani shankha musale chakram dhanu sahayakam hastabir dadhatim ghanant vilasachitam shutulya prabham gauri deha sabudbhavam tri jagatadmadhara bhuta maha purva mantra saraswati manu bhaje shumbhadi daityadini. Bole Sri Maha Saraswati Mata ki jai. How did she appear, devotees? She appeared with 8 hands holding 8 items. A lotus, a bell, a trident, a plow, a sank as we say, a pestle, discus and bow and arrow. Like the moon shining she was. She was born or emanated from the body of Gauri. And that Maha Saraswati who sustained the 3 worlds, I bow to that Maha Saraswati, that supreme energy, who destroyed Shumbha and those other asuras. This, devotees, in essence, is the appearance, manifestation of Maha Saraswati in a form, in story form. And what we chanted just now, the Suktam, if you understood a little bit, some of you know it. We basically were saying every single kind of energy is you, Devi. From the energy of thought, energy of motion, the energy that makes you get up, the energy that makes you die, sleep, go to the bathroom, anything. Everything is that one Maha Saraswati, that one energy. I bow to that because I am that. I am no different from that. So now, devotees, let us briefly take apart this story and really figure out now what it means to me. In our scriptures, as we've heard time and time again, this battle with asuras is an internal battle. From the day we are born till the day we are die, there is a fight. There is a fight going on inside of us. All times. Never ending fight. The day that fight ends, that is when we are self-realized or liberated, as it is called. So this fight with asuras, you all know this, is an internal fight. Now, as I explained before, there is a secret to interpreting scriptures. It is not a case of just taking names, okay, look, 2 demons, let me match it up with 2 things I know. You have to put together a series of things. Nirukta, etymology of words, the meaning of words, Sanskrit roots. Cross-reference between different scriptures. Philosophy, tantra, advait, etc. And also personal experience. Weave all of these together and then you end up with the right interpretation. Because anybody could say anything. Yes? Okay. So, this to my mind is maybe the correct interpretation. My approach is not to take what anybody says, but most of what I present to you has been filtered through background research, looking up the Sanskrit roots. So you see, I'm not reading from a book here because, in other words, I read from my own book. With the Sanskrit slokas, go back to the root, but extracting from it what the key elements are. Analysis of our scriptures, okay? So, what is the meaning of Maha Saraswati or Kaushiki? Anybody knows what Kaushiki is? Anybody knows anybody whose name is Kaushiki? Well, I do actually, a famous classical singer, daughter of Pandita Joy Chakrabarti, Kaushiki. Alright, what does Kaushiki sound like to you? Kaushiki, we're doing Ramayana. Any name sounds familiar? Kaushiki sounds familiar to, what was Sri Ram's mother's name again? Kaushilya. So you have something similar there, right? Kaushiki, Kaushilya. Kaushiki in Sanskrit, it means literally wrapped up in silk. Silk means fabric. It means something that is woven together. And also related to like Kaushilya, Kaushiki means skilled and pure. So this Maha Saraswati we are talking about, this Kaushiki Devi, is a technique, an approach that's supreme, yes, but an approach that will let us get back to our pure selves. How? By showing us that we are all wrapped in silk, like fabric, interwoven with each other. Understand? As I said, everything is not different things. Everything is one thing. Nobody knows that on a day-to-day basis, right? Okay, so that's the meaning of Kaushiki. Now, the second part, I'm making this dead easy. I mentioned a list of asuras, demons. You've heard that these demons are all inside of us, meaning in our psychology, in our thoughts, how we think. We all have thoughts and emotions and we do actions. There's nothing else that we do. You get up in the morning, you have thoughts, you have feelings, you go on, you go back and sleep. You do that for your whole life and then you're dead. Now that is if but psychology, these things are always there. So what are these demons? You've heard them. Chanda Munda, Dhumralochan, Rakta Bij, Shubhanishum, the main ones. And just for fun, I'll throw in Madhu. So just put, and in brief forms, one I call Madhu. And Kaitabha in Sanskrit, Kaitab means an insect. So Madhu and Kaitab go together. 'Kill. 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 ' that everything in this world comes in this pair of being sweet and being like a bee, it will sting you. In other words, anything that is married early. So now my wife RT is with me. At some point, I'm not saying anything about RT here, but at some point, maybe RT might die, not die, might, will at some point, or might leave, or so I might die or something, we will be separated. And that which has caused me so much joy will now cause me pain. I have children, so happy when they were born, feel elated. At some point, they're either going to reject me, they're going to die, they're going to leave and go. So I'm talking about people, far less for things. You buy a car, you depreciate, in a few years you have to give it away. You part with it, there's a breaking up. Happiness is conjoined with sorrow. Madhu Kaitab. Just understanding this Madhu Kaitab principle alone that is going on in your head, devotees, could do so much to help you solve your problems. So you don't have to keep coming by the pundit all the time, this happened and that happened. Of course it happened. What do you expect? And it will get back good again, and it will something bad happen again. What do you expect? Madhu Kaitab. Now, let's move it to the Katha. We have Shumbha Nishumbh, Chandan Mund, Dhumralochan and Rakta Beej. Chanda means, you've heard the Parmacharya mention this. Chanda means externally, focused on the outside, poverty. So fierce, so passionate on the outside. And Munda, moon like a shaved head, it's supposed to mean, well, in the real sense, dispassionate. But here Munda is a demon. So it means that you're withdrawing from the world, a nivriti marg, but you're withdrawing for the wrong reason. It's not vairagya. Now these are very technical, subtle psychological points, devotees. I don't know if most people get it, but there's a difference between vairagya and this munda I'm talking about here, this nivriti. You're moving inside. So let me use an example. Somebody dies and you get upset and you go inside, you withdraw, say, I have nothing to do with this world again. I'm upset. That is munda. That is not vairagya. You understand? Vairagya means dispassion. You realize, look, Madhu Kaitab. So, it has to happen, I deal with it. But Munda here is pulling inside like an aversion to the world. And Chanda is when you run after things in the world. So let me put it simply. Chanda and Munda, these two henchmen, they are like raga dvesh. Attachment and aversion. Running after things, running away from things. Okay? So now think for yourself how you operate. Some of you right now might like what I'm saying, some of you might not. Your mind just swinging back and forth like a pendulum. Attachment, aversion. What I like, what I do like. What I like, what I do like. And so it goes. Now, if you follow the Katha, what happened? Shumbha sent Dhumralochan first. Dhumra means smoky. So Dhumralochan means the he with smoky vision. So Dhumralochan in us is not glaucoma and cataract and thing, It could be that too. But Dhumralochan here is when your vision just wrong. In other words, people see the world all how. So take vaccination, a favorite example. I am not saying anything against anybody. Based on people's educational level, they see the world in different ways. A vaccine could save my life, it could help others. A vaccine, I don't know what they're putting in that, they want to kill people. The vaccine come from China, that's where the virus started, so I want to put it in my body and kill me. Some people feel the Prime Minister want to control them because it have nanobots inside and it will control the mind. All kind of thing. Dhumralochan, cloud, where's the truth? But those who have the knowledge to know that it's probably statistically you're more likely to die in a car accident than from a vaccine, right, would know the benefits of taking it. So this is what I mean by having this intellect, Dhumralochan, the right, you have the right vision, Ganesh, Vivek. But this Dhumralochan is the opposite. He's the cloudy vision. And if you know how many people have Dhumralochan going on, you can't understand anything. No logic. And our Sanatan Dharma is built upon a strong intellectual foundation of logic, right thinking, action. But I don't know. Now people just believe all kind of thing. So Dhumar Lochan is the first one to be burnt. Then Rakta Bij. I won't elaborate. Rakta means color, Bij means root or seed. So the seed of coloring. In other words, the seed of desire. I want this and then I want that. You know, you go shopping, say a lady go shopping for lipstick, I like this red, but you know, the blue one might look nice too, you know, or look goth or whatever. So okay, I take the blue one, and then I want to add on one to that. And so desires, and they go, and they go. I have one child, you know, but you know, another one will make us happy. All right, let me have a next child. All right, then you can realize you can't afford Pampers, all kind of thing. Desires. One, look at your own minds, devotees, look at it. So Rakta Bij is the next one, and he was destroyed. And then finally now we come to Shumbha Nishumb. Who is Shumbha Nishumb? The big boys, the big demons, Shumbha Nishumb inside of you. Bha, devotees, means a light, but it means a reflected light. I'll use an example to make it clear. So Shumbha and Nishumbha, both of them, they mean a light, a reflected light. But Shumbha means this feeling of I, or as you've heard, asmita. Shumbha is asmita, and Nishumbha is mamata, mine, or mamatva. Let me put it simply for you. The feeling of I and mine, Shumbha and Nishum, twins, they come together. The root cause of all problems, I and mine. What do you make of that? You probably go in your head, me, well, nothing wrong with me. I am fine. And therein, devotees, is the big delusion. We are doing Sri Ram Charitramanas. Do you recall? It is written, one of my favorite, मैं अरु मोर तोरते माया जेहि बस कीन्हे जीवनी काया. मैं अरु मोर, me and mine, tor te maya, you and yours. Sri Ram is saying that is illusion, maya. And this holds jehi basakin jivanikaya over everybody. So much so that I'll tell you a little secret. Everybody think I have a soul. And I can tell you, I don't know what this will do to you or not, but from my point of view, there aren't different souls. There's only one soul. But you can't relate to that. I will die. I will move on. Sri Ram is saying in Ramayana, and Devi Mahatma is saying, the biggest delusion in your mind is the illusion of individual I. Now let me prove this to you. When you wake up and you're moving around, all your thoughts circle around I, not so? I have to go out. I have to do this. I have to get this. I have to take care of this person. I am not happy. Yes? When you go to sleep and you don't dream, do you have that sense of I with you? It's like you knock out, you're unconscious. No, you're there, somehow you know you're there, but that I feeling, you don't have it. But when you wake up in the morning, you wake up and all of a sudden rushes back to you that sense of I. Oh, I am here. I have to go and brush my teeth. I have to go to the bathroom. You understand? This is the delusion when you look at it very carefully. This I that you experience in Shumbha and related Nishumbha, the possession mind, is the biggest demon ever that we're trying to fight. Now, having said all of that, you've heard that before, I and mine, yes, delusion, what? So what to do about it? I can't just stop being me. I can't stop being I. Well, here we have Abhyas Vairagya, the technique. What is the practice, devotees? As the Devatas did here, and as I asked you to do before, Sharanagati, one, complete surrender. Meaning, you see, when you have this attitude of surrender, what happens to this I feeling in you? It goes dead. It's no longer about you. People want to feel special, but in actuality, our scriptures tell us you should feel like zero, nothing special about me. And when that dissolves, then you become everything. Experience, devotees. So when you're praying and you're asking God for this and that, devotees, I mean, it has its purpose, but as all the priests say, you're wasting time. wasting time. If it's the truth, real truth that you're after, Mahasaraswati, this is the way to go. So either you go the path of Sharanagati, I don't know anything, I just drop it all. I don't ask, I don't tell, I don't argue, nothing. I just accept. So many of you here, for example, you have some sickness, some worry, something, but you haven't totally accepted it. So you're fighting. Now that is one way. Yes, help yourself. But if mentally you completely drop it, you completely ignore it, that has nothing to do with me, that is not me, see what will happen. It takes care of itself. Sharanagati. The other way is the path of Gyan, which is more difficult and dangerous, but there's a path for everybody. It's a way of total acceptance and the path of meditation. Observe yourself. Observe yourself. Now, devotees, we spoke about all the demons. I know that's a little bit heavy. All you need to do, pay attention. Start paying attention to this internal fight going on in you. And now I will come to the last part and wrap it up with a simple checklist. What do the 8 hands of Mahasaraswati mean? So all we talk about when you come to the temple, remember, when you come here, you're not coming here for us to build you up. You're coming here for us to break you down. To break down the idea of what you are. Always remember that. You're not coming here to gain, you are coming here to lose. Lose what? What I just said, this delusion that you have every time you come. Now, Saraswati Devi, Mahasaraswati, appeared with 8 arms. And I'm going to tell you what these 8 arms are. They are known, these 8 arms destroy what's known as the Ashtapasha. A pasha is a noose that bind all of us. So, different scriptures, the tantras, etc., they have different ways of putting this, right? So just listen carefully. It is said, Pasha yukta bhave jiva, Pasha mukta sadashiva. Pasha yukta bhave jiva. He who is bound by pasha, these 8 pashas, noose, I don't know the plural of noose, nooses? Yes, nooses is jiva, an individual. But pasha mukta sadashiva, he who is freed from these pashas is Shiva himself. You remain as Shiva without all this rubbish on you. Okay? So, what are the 8 of them? Listen carefully. I'm just going to list them out and then I'll proceed to wrap up. We'll glorify Saraswati Mata as you're accustomed to and then proceed to conclude. There are 8 Ashtapasha. Okay? Number 1, Ghirna, hate, aversion, hate. Now, Mahasaraswati, when we speak of her, is on a very subtle level. We all talk about anger and greed and whatnot, and we all know that, you've heard that. But actually, what we are talking about here is battling against sattva. It sounds strange because you've heard that, okay, no tamas, lethargy, no rajas running around the world. Aim for sattva. But this lesson is for those who want to go even further. Sattva is like a glass wall. You can see through the wall, but you can't pass through it. That is sattva. And these subtle pashas I'm talking about are what affects even those spiritually advanced people. So listen well. 1, ghirna, aversion, hate, contempt. You might be a pandita, a sadhu, you don't like an ex-pandit, subtly in your mind you go in competition, pasha, a noose around your neck. 2, lajja, shame. In other words, shame, devotees, is when you care what other people think. Isn't it? The best thing you could do is not care what anybody think, aside from your guru and your parents, right? Once they mentally sound. So lajja, shame, 2. Number 3, bhaya, or fear. I mentioned this before. We are all afraid of 2 things. What? What are we afraid of? Losing what we have and not getting what we want. Day and night, day and night. Losing what we have, not getting what we want. Bhaya. Number 4, shanka, doubt. When there is no clear thinking, as I mentioned before, doubt in the mind. This is a noose around your neck. Jugupsa, number 5. This is like reproach. Or let me say somebody buff you up and you get hurt and you have a tendency to buff up people too. this kind of inner feeling to dominate somebody else, right? To pull rank now, right? That is jugupsa. Number 6 is jati. You feel so entitled because you belong to a group of people based on your birth, right? So, for example, racism is an example of this. I'm a white person, no other race good. I'm not a white person, I'm not saying that. Right? I'm a brown person, no, I'm a this, I am fair. Because of your body and how you are, that is a very subtle noose around you. You know? Is a noose, right? Then number 7 is kula, attachment to a group based on your activity. So this means like your family lineage. I am proud of the family that I come from. I am proud of the heritage. I am proud of the tradition. For now, when you're dead, then what happened? So that pride, that subtle pride in you, a noose. And the last one, shield. Now this is weird, because shield stands for good character, modesty. So how good character and modesty could be a noose around your neck? Again, plenty of people in temple and things, you see this. Spiritual people. You're doing so much. I fast so much. I like to boast about how much Havan I do. This, that, and the other. Subtly in your mind, it builds up a pride due to modesty. You get it? You're proud of the kind of Hindu you are. This type of pride that comes from, doing the right thing is also a noose around your neck. Shield. And these devotees are the Ashta Pasha, 8 nooses, right? That bind all of us. So it's a different way of putting it. You've heard of all these things, Kanchukas, etc. But these 8 are very, very subtle. And they require Mahasaraswati, a very subtle, sharp intellect to go in now and pull out these things that you have hidden in you, that you don't really realize that are there. Okay? So, let me summarize and sing a bhajan. As I said, this katha is for me, is beautiful. To summarize, from the time we are born till we die, there is a fight going on in us. Whether it's Devi versus the Asuras, the Mahabharat war, Sri Ram fighting Ravan, whatever, same thing. The story of our life is one thing, devotees, one story. First thing, recognize what is going on with you with these subtle things. The way to do it, be aware, look at your thinking on a day-to-day basis. Secondly, look at this notion of I. Who am I really? A few years ago, you're a little baby, now you're a big person, you might go into a frail old person, who knows? Who are you really? Then, to approach all of these things, the method is, don't go the madhu kaita route and go and suck honey and get stung by the bee, but sharanagati. Practice the principle of Mahasaraswati. Aware, pay attention, your meditation, your contemplation, okay? Pray in the right way, and by doing all of these things, this blessing of Mahasaraswati will be upon you, where Shumbh and Nishumbh, the feeling of I and mine, which is unreal, would be totally destroyed. You break that glass wall of even sattva, and you remain as that pure Devi, white in color, that Mahasaraswati. This is the lesson of Mahasaraswati Jayanti. Bole Sri Saraswati Mata Ki Jai. We will glorify Saraswati Devi one more time and then I'll pass over to the Paramacharya. जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, शरणागत प्रतिपालनहारे, शरणागत प्रतिपालनहारे, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, शरणागत प्रतिपालनहारे, शरणागत प्रतिपालनहारे, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। चंद्रबिंब समवदन विराजे, चंद्रबिंब समवदन विराजे, शीश मुकुट माला गलधारी, शीश मुकुट माला गलधारी, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। वीणा वाम अंग में झूले, वीणा वाम अंग में झूले, श्याम गीत ध्वनि मधुर पियारी, श्याम गीत ध्वनि मधुर पियारी, श्याम गीत ध्वनि मधुर पियारी, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। श्वेत बसन कमलासन सुंदर, कमलासन कमलासन सुंदर, श्वेत बसन कमलासन सुंदर, संग सखी शुभ हंस सवार, संग सखी शुभ हंस सवार, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। Brahmanand now says devotees, Brahmanand mein das tumharo. So we spoke of it, now do it. Sharanagati, Brahmanand mein das tumharo. That supreme is always there. The problem, devotees, is you. The problem is me. All you have to do, drop it. Drop everything that is not you. Brahmanand mein das tumharo. Ki darshan par brahma dulari. If you really want the vision of that supreme, just do it. Do it now. You don't have to wait on anything. Nothing has to happen. Just drop it all. Brahmanand, the poet says, Brahmanand, Brahmanand, मैं दास तुम्हारो, Brahmanand, ब्रह्मानंद मैं दास तुम्हारो, की दर्शन पर ब्रह्म दुलारी, की दर्शन पर ब्रह्म दुलारी, की दर्शन पर ब्रह्म दुलारी, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, शरणागत प्रतिपालनहारे, शरणागत प्रतिपालनहारे, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी, जय जगदीश्वरी, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। बोले श्री महासरस्वती माता की जय। Okay, devotees, the Paramacharya has requested Ma Sharade. We join together as we glorify Devi Ma.
शारदे हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि ब्रह्मभामिनी कला स्वामिनी जगतारिणी मां शारदे हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि ब्रह्मभामिनी कला स्वामिनी जगतारिणी मां शारदे ज्ञानहीन में ज्ञानहीन में बुद्धिहीन विवेकहीन में ज्ञानहीन में ज्ञानहीन में बुद्धिहीन विवेकहीन में विवेकहीन में ज्ञान भर दे मां शारदे विवेकहीन में ज्ञान भर दे मां शारदे मां शारदे हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि ब्रह्मभामिनी कला स्वामिनी जगतारिणी मां शारदे हृदय गगन में मर्त्य भवन में मुक्त भवन में जन जीवन में हृदय गगन में मर्त्य भवन में मुक्त भवन में जन जीवन में जन जीवन में रश्मि दे मां शारदे जन जीवन में रश्मि दे मां शारदे मां शारदे हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि ब्रह्मभामिनी कला स्वामिनी जगतारिणी मां शारदे कला स्वामिनी जगतारिणी मां शारदे कला स्वामिनी जगतारिणी मां शारदे
Bole Sri Saraswati Mata ki jai. We join together in our final Havan. Om Sri Man Mahaganadhipati Swaha. Om Sri Gauri Mata Swaha. Om Sri Prithvi Mata Swaha. Om Sri Panchlokpal Devaya Swaha. Om Hrim Srim Chandikaya Namah Swaha. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaya Viche Swaha. Om Hrim Srim Lakshmi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Srim Hrim Saraswatyai Swaha. Om Krim Kalyai Namah Swaha. Om Sri Tara Devi Swaha. Om Sri Tripura Sundari Devi Swaha. ओम श्री भुवनेश्वरी देवी स्वाहा, ओम श्री त्रिपुर भैरवी देवी स्वाहा, ओम श्री छिन्नमस्ता देवी स्वाहा, ओम श्री धूमावती देवी स्वाहा, ओम श्री बगलामुखी देवी स्वाहा, ओम श्री मातंगी देवी स्वाहा, ओम श्री कमला देवी स्वाहा, ओम श्री नवदुर्गा माताभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री स्वाहा माताभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, ओम ह्रीं षष्ठी देव्येभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, ओम नमः शिवाय स्वाहा, ओम नमो भगवते नारायणाय स्वाहा, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री सीतारामचंद्रायभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री राधा कृष्णायभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री हुं हनुमते नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री आदित्य देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री चंद्र देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री मंगल देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री बुध देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री बृहस्पति देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री शुक्र देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री शनि देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री राहवे नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री केतवे नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री अगिन देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री इष्ट देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री कुलदेवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री स्थान देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री वास्तुदेवाय स्वाहा, ओम सर्वदेवता सर्वदेवीभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री अनंत स्वरूपाय ब्रह्मणे नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री गुरुवेभ्यो नमः स्वाहा। Please all stand, devotees. Okay, so just hold it in your hand. We make our final offering. Om Namah Shambhavaya Cha Mayobhavaya Cha, Om Namah Shankaraaya Cha Mayaskaraya Cha, Om Namah Shivaya Cha Shivtaraya Cha, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Purnamidah Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Sarvam Vai Purnagvam Swaha. ओम सर्वपापहरं दिव्यं गांग्यं निर्मलं जलम आचमनं च मया दत्तं घृतां पुरुषोत्तमः आचमन्यं समर्पयामि। श्री अकिन्देवाय नमो नमः। We join together in final arati, devotees. We will sing the Saraswati Devi Arati. If you have your Swaha bhajan books, it's in there, I believe. So we could join together. Om Jai Saraswati Mata, Maiya Jai Saraswati Mata. Vedya Buddhi Pradayak, Vedya Buddhi Pradayak, तुम हो सुखदाता।
मैया जय सरस्वती माता।
कुंद इंदु सम शोभा तन की ज्योति हरे, ज्योति हरे। जो सेवक बनी आए, जो सेवक बनी आए, सब भंडार भरे। ओम जय
सरस्वती माता।
वीणा दंड कमंडल माला कर सोहे मैया,
माला कर सोहे
हंस वाहिनी देवी,
हंस वाहिनी देवी,
त्रिभुवन मन मोहे।
मैया जय सरस्वती माता।
श्वेत स्वरूप सुंदरी, श्वेत वस्त्रधारी मैया,
श्वेत वस्त्रधारी,
श्वेत पद्म पर बैठी,
श्वेत पद्म पर बैठी,
सबको सुखकारी।
मैया जय सरस्वती माता।
तब प्रताप सब माता, सुर भय ज्ञानी मैया,
सुर भय ज्ञानी,
निज दासन पर करते,
निज दासन पर करते,
करुणा कल्याणी।
मैया जय सरस्वती माता।
ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदा शिव, इंद्र आदि देवा मैया,
इंद्र आदि देवा,
सनकादिक और नारद,
सनकादिक और नारद,
सदा करे सेवा।
मैया जय सरस्वती माता।
त्रिभुवन यश विस्तार्यो, गुण गावे देवा मैया,
गुण गावे देवा,
सुर नर मुनि सब निश दिन,
सुर नर मुनि सब निश दिन,
करे विविधा सेवा।
मैया जय सरस्वती माता।
माँ शारदा की आरती, जो कोई नर गावे मैया,
जो कोई नर गावे,
परम ज्ञान सो पावे, परम ज्ञान सो पावे, परम ज्ञान सो पावे, परम ज्ञान सो पावे, जग यश फैलावे।
मैया जय सरस्वती माता।
ओम जय सरस्वती माता, मैया जय सरस्वती माता। विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायक, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायक, तुम हो सुखदाता। ओम जय सरस्वती माता, ओम जय सरस्वती माता, ओम जय
सरस्वती माता।
जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता।
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 काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता,
काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता,
काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता।
काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता।
जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती 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 काली जगमाता।
दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता।
दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता।
दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती, दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती, दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती, काली जगमाता।
दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता,
काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता,
काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता,
काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता,
काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता।
जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती, काली जगमाता।
जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता,
जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती, काली जगमाता।
जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता,
काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता। जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती, 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 काली जगमाता। We join in closing prayer, devotees. शिव हरे शिव राम सखे प्रभु, त्रिविधताप निवारण हे विभु। अज जनेश्वर यादव पाहि मां, शिव हरे विजयं कुरु मे वरं। शिव हरे विजयं कुरु मे वरं, प्रतिदिनं कुशलं जय मङ्गलं। प्रतिदिनं कुशलं जय मङ्गलम्। ॐ मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु, मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज, मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष, मङ्गलाय तनो हरे। मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु, मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज, मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज, मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज। ॐ मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दनं, यत् पूजितं मया देवा, परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे। ॐ असतो मा सत्कमय, ॐ तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, ॐ मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति, हरि ओम। हर हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव। Bole Sri Gajanan Swami ki jai. Bole Sri Saraswati Mata ki jai. Bole Sri Umapati Mahadev ki jai. Bole Sri Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. Bole Sri Swaha Mata ki jai. Devotees, let me say blessings to all of you who attended devotions tonight. We hope you had an uplifting experience, and we invite you as we continue Sunday morning. We have our Sunday morning service that starts at 8 o'clock. Just a reminder, we are looking at the Ramcharitamanas, and I would like everyone to get their own copies. If you want to know what it is, you could check our Facebook page or speak to any member of our management committee. And we're also arranging to have about 4 or 5 copies in the temple. For those of you who can't afford or like to borrow when you come, we'll have that available. Let me say tonight special blessings. Let me say blessings to Arati and Viresh for sitting for puja. No special reason, just blessing. All right, just confirming that, yes, you initiated with me, so just remember. All right, so blessings to both of you. A job well done, and may Saraswati Devi's blessings be with both of you. Also blessings to your parents. Devotees, some of you may have come late and you would like to make your offerings. So right after we are finished, you can come to our offering area on the side here where you'll be able to make your offerings. So both of you, just take your prasad. Jai Sitaram. And of course, I save the best for last. So yes, devotees, we have refreshments, food for everybody prepared tonight. So you can receive your prasad as you normally do outside, and we have our food boxed and ready for you to take away. Again, blessings for the week ahead. Please be careful, keep safe, and we hope to see you at our subsequent services. Jai Sitaram.